Hey folks, this is Rhykker with a gaming news wrap-up video where we discuss the happenings of the week. This week's topics include Path of Exile's new expansion reveal and the return of Battle Royale, Netflix committing to the gaming scene, Blizzard revealing some highly requested Diablo 2 Resurrected changes since Alpha, and more. As always, discussion timestamps can be found in the description below. But right before we skip ahead, just a quick reminder to ring that sub notification bell to be alerted to new Saturday episodes and stay up to date with gaming news highlights. Now before we move on, just a quick word from this video's sponsor, Keeps, which is all about keeping your hair. Big props to the gentleman who can rock that shaved head look, but let's be real, it's not for everyone. And there's nothing wrong with just enjoying having and styling hair. But about 2/3 of men will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they reach 35. Now, there's no magic cure for baldness, but there are common preventative steps to stop it from progressing and keep the hair you have, including FDA-approved medications. But the key is to start before it's all gone and be consistent. Keeps is a subscription service that focuses on making it easier and more affordable for men to treat their male pattern baldness, all from the comfort of their home. No needing to go to the pharmacy, shop around for the different medications, feel self-conscious when the attractive cashier scans your baldness pills. With Keeps, you get automated shipping and delivery to your home every 3 months, and they offer generic brand versions of the FDA-approved medications, which makes it more affordable. They also offer online doctor consultations with a board-certified physician who can review your information and recommend the right treatment plan for you. So, if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/Rhykker or click the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/RHYKKER. In our first story, Final Fantasy XIV continues to see such a surge in popularity that even digital versions of the game have sold out. Yes, some consumers trying to buy the game this past week found themselves instead put on a waiting list. I mean, it takes time for those poor sweatshop workers in the digital key factory to generate new serial keys. I, lowercase l, number 1, 0, capital O, 0. Now, some theories are that the waiting list was not because they actually ran out of product keys, but rather because too many players joining the game at once could cause server issues. And this theory is supported by reports of new character creation being intermittently disabled in some regions last weekend. The game recently broke its all-time concurrent player record, and according to Square Enix figures, more than 22 million accounts are registered with the game. But, you know, I'm sure it's just because of Asmongold and definitely no other reason.
Wow! So what's this? Item level 50? Why would anybody want this?
In other news, in Japan, police have arrested a man for selling a hacked Zelda save file. You see, in Japan, the Unfair Competition Prevention Act passed in 2019, making it illegal since then to edit save data and distribute edited save data. So when 27-year-old Tokyo resident Ichimin Sho tried to sell what he described as the ultimate save data for Zelda Breath of the Wild, he was detained by police. He has since confessed to authorities that he sold over 10 million yen worth of save files since 2019, which is approximately $90,000 US. He also offered services to modify the save data however the customer wanted. Rare items, maxed out player stats, you name it. Imagine going to jail for selling cheats to a single-player game. This wasn't even the first such arrest of the year in Japan. In February, a Pokemon Sword and Shield player was sent to jail for selling hacked Pokemon. Japan does not joke around when it comes to this stuff. What are you in jail for? Oh, me? Aggravated assault and battery. You? Pokemon. In other news, Google is being sued by 37 US states for its Google Play Store monopoly. The tech giant is being accused of efforts to unlawfully maintain a monopoly on Android devices by buying off competitors and key app developers, and using restrictive contracts to suppress competition. The lawsuit states that, quote, Google has employed anti-competitive tactics to diminish and disincentivize competition in Android app distribution. Google has not only targeted potentially competing app stores, but also has ensured that app developers themselves have no reasonable choice but to distribute their apps through the Google Play Store. Google responded to the filing in a blog post, calling it, quote, a meritless lawsuit that ignores Android's openness, which is a legal equivalent of nuh-uh. Now, I know a lot of people want to harp on that last part, that Android is an open platform. And a lot of people are going to say, you know, no one's stopping you from just downloading and installing APKs. And yeah, that's true. But it's like saying that you have a store with a front entrance and a back entrance. Google hasn't bricked up the back entrance, but they've put up signs for the front entrance that block the back entrance alley from view. They've hired intimidating thugs to stand menacingly in the alley flipping switchblades, and they only allow the store employees to use and advertise the main entrance. So sure, they're not actively stopping customers from using the back entrance, but they're trying their darndest to ensure that as few people use it as possible. For instance, Epic was not allowed to advertise their APK download of Fortnite on Google Ads. Because Google is so big and controls so much, they can throw their weight around to stop potential competition from rising up, which is illegal for a monopoly to do in the US. That's why I'm announcing the start of RhykkerTube, a video service that will compete directly with Google's YouTube. In other news, we once reported a couple years ago that Google Stadia wanted to become the Netflix of gaming. Well, now it seems that Netflix wants to become the Netflix of gaming. Netflix confirmed Wednesday that it's hired a former Oculus, Electronic Arts, and Zynga executive, Mike Verdu, as Vice President of Games Development. According to a Bloomberg report, Netflix plans to add video games on its service at no added cost within the next year. The games will allegedly be available as though they're a new genre on the service. In the past, Netflix, which has over 200 million subscribers worldwide, has acknowledged that some of its stiffest competition isn't actually other movies and TV services, but rather video games and YouTube. Let's just hope that their efforts into video games will be better than how well Amazon is doing so far, but with so much of Netflix's original content being either hit or miss, it's easy to imagine how this can go poorly. Combine that with the fact that we're likely to see a video game streaming service similar to Stadia, which isn't exactly doing great itself, and it's not looking promising. In other news, Valve has announced their answer to the Nintendo Switch, the Steam Deck, a portable handheld set to release at the end of the year. It comes in 3 versions, with the cheapest priced at $399 and the most expensive at $649, featuring larger and faster storage. Now, Valve claims that the Steam Deck can deliver, quote, more than enough performance to run the latest AAA games in a very efficient power envelope, which is a bold claim at a price tag of $400. But perhaps the biggest advantage of the Steam Deck over the Nintendo Switch is that you don't have to buy new games for it. You have full access to your existing Steam library. In fact, the Steam Deck is quite literally just a handheld PC, so you can do anything you want with it, including installing third-party software, stores like the Epic Games Store, and operating systems. Anything you can do on your desktop, software-wise, you can do on the Steam Deck, like even plugging in a mouse and keyboard. And in a pro-consumer move intended to prevent resellers from controlling the market, Valve has currently limited pre-orders to those with Steam accounts that were opened before June 2021. I just hope that this doesn't turn out to be another one of Valve's abandoned hardware projects, alongside the Steam Machine, the Valve Controller, and the Steam Link. I still have and use a Steam Link, and I don't understand why the product failed. On to some Path of Exile news. We got this week the reveal of the newest expansion, Expedition, which contains the Expedition Challenge League, 4 new NPC traders with unique trading mechanics, 19 new skill and support gems spread across a wide variety of playstyles, as well as new base item types and uniques. They're also making some massive balance changes to make the game more challenging, which includes a rework of the Flask system to address the Flask Piano playstyle. The new expansion launches next Friday, and I'll have a full dedicated video covering the details. But I'll just take some time now to discuss some opinions I'm seeing regarding the difficulty rebalance, which will see all builds suffer a damage nerf of between, I believe, 20 and 40%, targeting meta builds more harshly than non-meta. Now, nerfs are never fun or exciting changes for players. I get that, but they're an important tool to deal with power creep. During the expansion reveal livestream, Chris Wilson showed an actual chart of the power rise of players over the years, expansion over expansion, year over year, and explained how even a relatively small power increase of just 8% per league, through the power of compound interest, becomes very large over the years. Now, there tend to be negative knee-jerk reactions to nerfs in games. But in this case, if you look past the boo nerfs comments, you do see some legitimately expressed concerns within the community. Some fear that these nerfs will have the biggest impact on the casual players who are already struggling with endgame bosses, and is going to funnel more people towards cookie-cutter YouTube builds. Some express that they're fine with slowing down the pace of the game by lowering our damage, but that if monster damage isn't also lowered, then the problem is that our time to kill is slower, but our time to die is the same. That is pretty much instantly. Since there's so much in the game that can one-shot you, or just about, the typical strategy has been to just kill stuff so quickly that it doesn't have a chance to kill you. Some express concerns that the game is already very grindy, even when you are plowing through maps at a mile a minute. How much more grindy will things be if we're all weaker? And while these are all legitimate concerns, I do think it's important to remember that Chris stated that the team will be receptive to feedback on this matter. They're open to changing things if people end up hating the experience. They just wanted to test out some significant balance changes before Path of Exile 2 launches, rather than risk holding these changes for the PoE 2 launch and then have everyone react negatively then. So basically, I think we're seeing a lot of alarmism, to be honest, but we should just wait and experience the changes first. Trust your doctor. Take your medicine. It doesn't taste good, I know, but take the full prescription. Don't just take one pill and decide it isn't working. That's 10 pills for 10 days. You take your full prescription. Then, if you're still sick, if the pills didn't make you feel better, then you complain to your doctor. As an additional announcement alongside the new expansion, GGG revealed that it's bringing back Path of Exile Royale, the GGG Battle Royale mode that launched as an April Fool's joke in 2018 and was well received. I didn't get a chance to try it back then, but I've been dying to ever since, and I got to play some yesterday night, and I'm enjoying it. There's a learning curve, and there's a lot of RNG, but it's the most fun I've had in PvP in any ARPG ever. They even brought improvements to the mode now, such as a new passive tree just for Royale, and Royale will be available every weekend, except launch weekend, for the entirety of the 3.15 expansion cycle. Onto Diablo news. As a reminder, Diablo 3 Season 24 begins next Friday. I've been pumping out build guides, and we'll have a video on the best builds of Season 24 coming soon, in collaboration with the awesome folks at maxroll.gg. In Diablo 2 Resurrected news, we got this week a blog post from the dev team covering technical alpha learnings, in which the devs shared changes they've made since the tech alpha a couple months ago. And honestly, it's more changes than I expected. Quote, "Today we're thrilled to share what we learned from the technical alpha, leading to key visual improvements, quality of life, and accessibility changes, and more. Lightning. The sorceress may use lightning, a powerful skill which shoots a bolt of electricity from the sorceress's fingertips. Based on community feedback, the lightning VFX has been enhanced with a wider and thicker visualization that is more reminiscent of the original VFX. Now, this was one of my minor gripes about D2R, that the lightning felt weak, and some recent footage from the latest trailers suggested they may have improved the lightning, and this confirms it. We also noted that it seems the sorceress's Blizzard skill was changed, and Blizzard confirmed that as well. Quote, "The sorceress may summon an ice storm to rain cold death onto her enemies. Like lightning, the VFX for this spell has also been adjusted to better capture the destructive force of the original. The Paladin's Holy Freeze also got some love. Quote, using this aura, the Paladin can constantly slow and freeze enemies in near proximity. The VFX for this AoE aura has been updated to better represent the distinct wispiness and colors from the original game. Another one of our complaints was that the blue freeze effect on monsters looked too teal. Well, quote, the VFX for when monsters are damaged or immobilized by spells, i.e. cold spells, poisons or other status effects underwent a color revision based on community feedback. Now, I thought that would be the extent of the changes, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. They actually changed a lot of item art. Quote, the color of scroll, gem, and potion icons has been amplified to bring out the more brilliant colors, bring more attention to the focus points, and add clarity to the image. Weapons, armor, quest items, and charm icons have also been given the same touch-ups and treatments. Shown below are examples of that evolution. The revised artwork looks fantastic. It's great changes, and I really didn't expect them to go over these. But that still wasn't the end of it. We got a highly sought-after quality of life upgrade. Quote, we heard you loud and clear. Now you can choose to have item names be toggled on or off with a press of the button, or keep the original press and hold method. We leave it at your discretion. Go to your user interface settings to toggle item names on or off. And even more, we got more shared stash tabs. Quote, after careful deliberation, the shared stash will now have 3 tabs rather than just 1. Many players felt 1 tab wasn't enough. When it comes to a player's personal storage chest, we understand it's serious business. This change will enable players to better organize their loot across 3 tabs, each of 100 slots, of storage space and store many more items. They also improved the readability of the auto map and gave us a reminder of the upcoming multiplayer betas. This August, players will be able to experience these latest changes firsthand. For a limited time, the gates of hell will reopen, allowing players who pre-ordered Diablo 2 Resurrected to step into Sanctuary in the early access beta. Soon after, all players on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation will also have the chance to confront the demons of the Burning Hells in the open beta. Rally your friends, together you'll be able to play between 5 different classes, Amazon Barbarian, Paladin, Sorceress, and Druid, with access to many unique skills, and cooperatively form a party with up to 8 players. Now, there still remains one significant change that the community desires that seems like a very reasonable request: to enable ladder-only runewords, Diablo clone, and Uber Tristram to be accessible in single player. But I turn the question to you folks. Do you agree with this, or do you think it should be kept as is? Sound off in the comments, because that's going to wrap up this week's video. But do be sure to have checked out last week's video in which we discuss Tencent implementing facial recognition to police its players. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube supporters for making these videos possible. If you like what you see on this channel and want to support the creation of more content, you can consider pledging on YouTube or Patreon and unlocking behind-the-scenes content, monthly virtual hangouts, and more. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders for more gaming content.